precision submissions and commissions. BJJ Black Belt West Schaeffer, the Sales Whisperer here. Welcome to BJJ in Biz, brought to you by Active Campaign, the accessible and affordable all-in-one marketing platform for busy entrepreneurs. Today we have Alex, and I'm going to mess up his name. I'm going to say Jer. I think I got it right. Cool dude out in Australia, Melbourne. We'll talk about that. He is a 4th degree black belt in Hapkido. So he is a Sabeomnim. So we talk about that. I was not familiar with that martial art or with that title, but it's like a sensei, right, or professor. So a very accomplished individual in that regard. He's also a black belt in BJJ, coming up on his 1st degree. He has competed on and off for years, fought through a few injuries. We talk about that, but we hear his story. How did he grow? How did he launch the business? What struggles and issues is he having now? How is he overcoming those? His views on partnerships. And then I'm starting to implement some lightning round questions. So we get into his favorite things. I don't want to steal the thunder, but we get into some BJJ specific questions and then some business specific questions. We go a good hour. Just a nice guy. He's been out to Worlds, going to come out again, I think in a year and a half, he said. Interacted with him online in a private group recently. So good dude. Enjoyed the interview. I'm enjoying this already, this process, this BJJ focus. I hope you are as well. Let me know what topics you'd like to cover, if you'd like some more hands-on, more emphasis on business, or if the split approach is good. Now, let's take a listen in from our sponsors, which I will say, are you in sales? If you're an entrepreneur, business owner, consultant, or a human, then you are in sales. Have you been looking for the ultimate all-in-one platform to automate, integrate, and dominate, which I created? Your sales, your marketing, your e-commerce, your online presence without constant nickel and dime upsells and fees and huge setup fees and onerous contracts. Then say hello to my featured partner, Active Campaign. Visit AC, stands for Active Campaign, ac.bjjnbiz.com to start your free trial today. Alex Jer. Almost says CH. Jer.
There you go.
All the way from Melbourne, not Melbourne. Melbourne.
So
It's in Australia or Austria. You know what? I heard a thing that at the Austrian airport, there is a section to take in people that booked the wrong flight thinking they were going to Australia.
Is there really?
I'm not making that up. I have not verified it, but I have heard it. But regardless.
That sounds like a bro fact. But we should probably Google that at some point.
I'll Google it. I'm too old to be a bro. I'm a grandfather. So, but I do hang out on the interwebs. But welcome to the BJJ and Biz podcast, man. How the heck are you?
I'm really well, thank you. Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
So we're going to get into a lot of things. You were teaching me about Cantonese. You're teaching me about Hapkido. Did I say that right?
Yeah, nailed it. Hapkido.
You are a Sabeomnim?
Sabeomnim, yeah. Yep,
Sabeomnim.
Just
so
teacher.
That is a 4th degree black belt. So, all right, before we get into anything, tell me about that. Is this striking?
Hapkido.
Is this joint manipulation? Is it ground game? What is it?
Little bit of everything. So Hapkido is like a sort of a blended style of Taekwondo, Judo, and Aikido. Like, so we do a lot of wrist manipulation. Think of it almost, actually, do you know what? The best comparison is probably Japanese Jiu-Jitsu. Like, it's very much like Japanese Jiu-Jitsu. All wrist locks, throws, very heavily self-defense based, a bunch of weapons. The only real big difference between Japanese Jiu-Jitsu and like Korean Hapkido is we do way more kicking. So we've got like all the kicking of like the Taekwondo side of things. Whereas like a lot of Japanese Jiu-Jitsu has, a basic front kick, a basic side kick, and like maybe a basic back kick if you've got an adventurous instructor in Japanese Jiu-Jitsu, and then some other basic kicks, but we just delve a lot deeper into the kicking side. But then they're very, very similar to Japanese Jiu-Jitsu.
And
really
Hapkido, is it Korean?
Yes, Korean, absolutely. They all derive from like the Aki Jiu-Jitsu side, like the small circle Jiu-Jitsu, which is where like the main style of Aikido comes from, and most of the Japanese Jiu-Jitsu styles come from Aki Jiu-Jitsu, which is that small circle Jiu-Jitsu. And then
Gotcha.
Japanese occupation of Korea and all that sort of stuff that came into Korea, and then like the styles do, they blend, and Hapkido was born of that.
Nice. I spent a year at Osan in the Air Force. So
wow.
Your shirt, is that part of like the land of the morning calm? Is that
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, so that's the eagle. That's our logo. That's like our eagle logo, and
Yep.
that's the U and Ung off the Korean flag.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. Okay. I
in
thought I
the
recognized it. Yeah.
yeah, and then we just sort of took that as our inspiration for our logo with our eagle martial arts, and yeah, because the eagle.
So
So that eagle logo there is in Korean. You'll see a lot of like the eagle catching the arrow is the sort of like symbol of like the martial arts symbol
yeah,
for a
yeah.
lot of things you'll see, and so we hence the logo.
But you're also you've been a black belt in BJJ for about 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years. I got my black belt in 2023.
Okay.
And yeah, from Tiago Stefanuti, my coach from Onya. Onya's his association. He's actually awesome. He's actually visiting from Brazil right now. He does every year. He comes over and does like an Australian tour. And he was in Melbourne and teaching in Melbourne for I think 13 or 15 years. That's how
Right.
we connected and ended up training up under him.
Nice.
And then he ended up unfortunately moving back to Brazil just after the pandemic. His father unfortunately got very ill, and he decided for family reasons went back to Brazil. So he's still there now, and then just pops. He comes back once a year and does like a 6 to 8 week tour of Australia and sees all the gyms and
Yeah.
pops in, which is really really fun. So we're due to have him picking him up on Tuesday actually. So he's here with us
Oh, nice.
for Tuesday, and we've got a whole bunch of seminars happening. But yeah, no, it's great. It's really good.
So you got into Hapkido how? Just as a kid?
Yeah, Hapkido for me actually it came from like I've been doing martial arts like I'm 42 now and I've been doing martial arts since I was 5. So I started in kung fu and as a lot of kids do because your dad puts you in martial arts and you got to go do the thing. And then from there that it sort of just evolved through kung fu for a bunch of years and then we moved states and we moved from Adelaide. So I originally grew up in Adelaide in Australia and then we moved to Tasmania. And in Tasmania I wanted to train. I actually found Japanese jiu-jitsu as a kid, like in high school, like grade 10, I think it was, or 9 or 10. I found Japanese jiu-jitsu when we moved to Tasmania, which was really fun. And then but that school only trained twice a week in like a school hall. And I just was, when I did, so I did that for a couple of, I think a couple of years. And then but I wanted to train more. And a friend of mine at school was doing Hapkido. And we would often talk at lunch about martial arts and like those idiots in the gym throwing each other around and in the school gym. And then but their school, the Hapkido school, had like 19 classes a week. They're a full-time school. And so I started, he was like, just come down and do a class. And so I realized I was like, oh, this is like almost exactly the same as the Japanese jiu-jitsu stuff that I was enjoying, but I could train more. And yeah, it kind of just started from there. And then and so yeah, that was that. So I got my black belt in 2001 in Hapkido, I think it was. I think it was
Mm-hmm.
2001. I think it was 2001 or 2000. Anyway, so I got my black belt sort of then, and yeah, and it was great. Then I ended up moving to Melbourne, and the two of the like original students from that school in Tasmania, Master Greg Walters and now Master Scott Walters, his son, had moved to Melbourne. And so when I moved to Melbourne, I went straight over to them because I had that connection from Tasmania. Yeah, that's sort of how Eagle Martial Arts came about. Really, we've been teaching in Melbourne Hapkido and stuff since the early 2000s, and they opened. It was Victorian Hapkido Academy in like early 2000 when they moved, and we came over and then just kept going business as usual, like training there. And I was like I'd come over as a black belt from Tassie, and we started building the students there, and then but it was always a hobby school. We were always just training for fun, and it was a hobby. It wasn't it wasn't a full-time school or anything. Same 2-3 days a week out of little scout halls and stuff, just or renting areas for many years. And then slowly over time it developed. We started taking it a bit more seriously, but it really didn't. Eagle Martial Arts change. The name change was I think and like so Scott and I are business partners now. Like we both own the business together, and then Eagle Martial Arts actually, like the full-time facility for us in Mulgrave in Victoria, came about because of the pandemic. Like we had been, I don't want to say half-assing it, but it was like, where it was comfortable because there was no risk because it was a small school that we didn't make any money because it wasn't a business. It was just it was just a hobby for both of us. And then the pandemic came about, and we sort of it was like, well, you know, I mean, as we all know, like Victoria in particular in Australia had some ridiculous lockdown rules,
Yeah.
and everything shut. And so we making the choice of like, well, what it forced us to do was slow down and go, well, are we going to take this seriously, or are we just going to keep being a hobby school? And
Yeah.
we just decided we were like, well, let's just give it a crack. Like, screw it. And so
Nice.
it can't get worse than it is now, which was lockdown. And so it gave us a chance to actually put a business plan together and take it seriously. And then, yeah, we're going into our 5th year next year of the full-time school. So it's been
Nice.
great.
How do you split up the time between the two martial arts?
The styles we've got, like Hapkido is a little more of a niche art, whereas obviously Jiu-Jitsu is very mainstream now, especially in Australia and Victoria. It's really taken off. The scene is great, but we split the time between the classes. Like we've got beginners, intermediates, and advanced classes in Hapkido, and we run those sort of 3 days a week. And then as that's been growing, we'll add more as it goes for that. And then Jiu-Jitsu, because it's a little more popular, gets just a bit more mat time. But it's the same again. We've got we got Mondays. I think we run 5 classes a week of Jiu-Jitsu, but then we've got beginners, intermediates, and advanced levels with the Jiu-Jitsu as well. But there's a little more a few more Jiu-Jitsu students in Hapkido, but it does all right.
Nice. All right, you're going to be my guinea pig, like I said, man. You ready for the martial arts rapid fire?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Gi or no gi? What is your preference?
Gi every day.
No hesitation. All
None.
right. A man after my own heart.
Do you want the why, or are we doing rapid fire first?
We can come back to it.
Cool.
So we kind of talked about how long you've been training, but when did you officially start in BJJ?
2006.
2006. And how old were you at that time?
How old am I now? What are we? That's 20 years ago. Oh, so I was 21, 22.
21?
21, 22. Yeah.
Nice. Well, and you own the school, so the question is how often do you train? So I'm assuming every day.
Look, this is the teacher's
dilemma, huh?
Yeah, because like if I actually training like for myself, then
Right.
it's at the moment I'm nursing a meniscus injury. I had a surgery on my meniscus 3 weeks ago, so I'm out for the next few weeks. But I'm still on the mats every day. Yes, training I was probably once to twice a week for myself, just purely because time factor. But I'm work yeah.
But teaching almost
teaching
daily.
every day.
Yeah.
Teaching every day. I'm on the mats every single day, every class.
And so that led up to the next one, worst injury. Because I think I've got a meniscus tear, but I've had for years. I don't go to the doctor.
I think for me that's relative, because like I've torn my meniscus 3 times. This is the 3rd surgery I've had on this leg.
Oh my gosh.
And while it's a frustrating injury because it just takes you out. Now this is the 3rd time they've repaired my meniscus. They did the medial ligament, the medial meniscus, and they did the lateral meniscus this time. So it was the exterior one. But they literally were like, this is the last time we're repairing your leg with this. We'll just remove it if it happens again. So when but I would actually say I actually tore my rotator cuff in a takedown. I got when I was a blue belt, I got just tackled to the ground, and my arm was trapped, and I landed on my shoulder, and it just tore my rotator cuff when I landed. That was actually the most painful one I've had. That was the most painful injury, because it was like I couldn't sleep on it because you had to.
Yeah.
That was terrible. So that was actually probably the worst one that I think. I think that's the worst one that I've actually had, was that one. But the meniscus ones are frustrating, but I would say that the shoulder one was way more.
And the shoulder needed surgery?
No, I didn't. I let it heal, actually. It tore, and I was like, I did a lot of rehab and strength and conditioning and got it back. It's still, if I overuse my shoulder to this day, like if I overwork it or I'm doing weights and they go a bit too hard, it's it's the first thing that pinches. So it still gives me a bit of trouble, but it's not too bad. But I actually didn't have to have surgery.
Have you competed, or are you still competing?
So competition was a very love-hate relationship for me. I competed a bunch as a white belt, a bunch as a blue belt, only like once at purple. And at purple belt, I just was like I was at the time I had opened a restaurant. I was a chef, and I couldn't throw the time at competing that was required for purple belt level. And so I just couldn't compete, because I just was like, I was in this phase during purple belt where I was just turning up to survive, because I wasn't doing well, because I just couldn't wasn't prioritizing my jiu-jitsu. Everyone says they haven't got time. I think everyone's got whatever time you want. Is just what's important to you, or what are you prioritizing in that moment. And during that time, I just stepped away from competition completely. I was like, nah, I'm not going to do it anymore. And then when I got my black belt, I hadn't competed at all for, it'd been like almost 10 years. And
Mm,
and it was probably more than 10 years. And I realized, though, my students in particular, I realized that a lot of them were really afraid to compete at white belt
mm,
beginners, like white belts. They were just couldn't take that step. So I just was like, well, I got to lead from the front. And I got my black belt, and then I immediately entered a tournament in early 2024 was my first competition back was 2024. And I realized then I was like, I actually love this. And so I then from 2024, I set myself a little sort of goal to just start competing. It doesn't matter about your weight or how crap you feel or whatever it is. Just do it. Just do the thing. And
yeah.
show your students it doesn't matter if you lose. It doesn't matter if you win. It's just get out there and giving it a go is going to make you better on the mats. And I
Yeah.
realized from there, and then that kicked off a whole cycle of fitness and all sorts of stuff, which has been great. So,
Yeah. Very
and
nice.
then I was competing a bunch this year. Then I tore my meniscus. So that's now gone for the rest of the year. Then the goal is to get back to comp by May. Hopefully, I'm back on competitive mats by May next year. We have our state titles in May and our nationals in August, and our
Mm,
Pan Pacifics in October in Australia, and then hopefully go to Japan. And I want to compete in Japan again in next year, hopefully.
nice. All right. Well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
That's cool.
I'm Worlds, yeah, Worlds, yeah, because I went to Worlds in 2024 just because just go do the thing and experience that, because that was on my bucket list of like just go and
That's
do
in
it.
Vegas, right?
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
amazing. It was an amazing
Nice.
experience, one of the best experiences in my life.
Well, and I'm torn. It's like 6 months ago when I was a high level brown belt, I feel like I could have competed against other 55-year-olds, but now it's like as a black belt
So Masters
at my
6, Masters
age,
5.
I don't know, 6, I think,
I think
but
that's Masters 6. Yeah.
I could compete against some, dude's been a black belt for 35 years. It's like, man, maybe at a local tournament would be okay, but you
I would
get some
challenge you
dude.
on this. I would totally challenge you on this. And I mean this in the most respectful way. I mean, if it's something you want to do, just go do it. Because it's like the reality is you are going to work hard in the gym. You know the people that beat your ass at the gym when you've got your nemesis roles, right? There's that guy that's just always got your number in the gym, right? Like
Well, the thing
like
is, for me, I have no peer,
right.
you know. I mean, because there's guy I rolled today with Big Nick, but
Yeah.
he's maybe 40,
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, we're
Makes a
3
difference.
levels separated,
Yeah, 100%.
and he's been he's a first degree, and I actually fought him very well. I almost tapped him today for the first time ever, and he actually asked me what I did. I was texting another buddy, they're cousins,
Hmm.
and I said, "Man, I almost got Nick. We got this. We were talking about it. And he asked me about. It was like an honor. So like not like bragging. It's
No,
just.
yeah, yeah, I know.
Um, and I had a lapel choke, and it was kind of weird. And I set it up properly, but as he adjusted, I adjusted, and it was about 90 seconds. Man, I'm switching hands. I'm trying to get up. We went inverted, and he said, "Man," he said, "I almost tapped." But like I don't have any peers in my
Yeah, I get that.
school that's my age, my belt, my weight.
So what I would say to you is think how good you do against people that are your age, your weight, and in your category. Then, if you're doing well against a 40-year-old who's,
Well, I'm
you're feeling
doing
good about it.
well, I might well, he tapped me in the first minute, and then
Yeah,
I
no,
fought hard for 5 minutes on the second round, so
yeah.
it's all relative, but yeah.
It is all relative, but that's what I mean. If you remove the fear from it, because like, what do you got to lose? Who cares? Like,
Well, and
it's not a,
it's not fear,
yeah,
it's dude, I was scared. You talk about fear, my first in-house tournament
yeah,
as a white belt. I'm a grown ass man. I'm 47 years old. I played D1 football, traveled in the Air Force around the world. Mouth. I couldn't think. I couldn't hear. I
yeah,
couldn't breathe. I had no moves. I'm squeezing the crap out of this guy. I feel like I'd never fought in my life. Everybody's screaming in my ear. It took like 3 tournaments to calm down and like
yeah,
have fun,
a
you
hundred
know?
percent.
So it's not fear, but I mean, I still got kids at home. I got grandkids. I'm like, I'm gonna go travel and I'm gonna get some. I'm gonna get some 55-year-old black belt. It's been a black belt for 30 years. You know, he's gonna tap dance on my ass and tap me in about 32 seconds. I'm like, did I just pay $100 and drive out of here?
I understand. I totally understand what you mean, because I felt the same way when I came back to the comp in 2024. I was like, why am I here? I haven't trained. I'm fat. I'm unfit. I've only been teaching. I have zero competition experience at the higher levels from things. But it was like, I guess the reality is like what's your why? Like what is your why? You know, like what's your why? Like why am I doing it? I knew why I was doing it, and it was said
Yeah.
it was more about my students than my own sort of ambitions or anything. And then I realized after that tournament, I was like, you know what, I actually do want to do this. And so then I was like, okay, well, now I can put work in for myself. But it's the same
Yeah.
thing. Like I'm Masters 3, edging on Masters 4, and I've got no peer in my own gym because I'm the top of the belts, you know, and our jiu-jitsu school's only 4 years old. So like, you know, I've got people who've come over to us, you know, from other schools and things. So I've got purple belts and stuff. And now, and I've been teaching at a lot of other schools. And when I opened my other school, a lot of those people came to me and kept coming, stayed with me. So I've got, you know, blue belts and purple belts now, which is great. And they're awesome. But getting high level black belts in my own gym is a very different story. And so in the Australian scene is really strong now in a context of those categories. Like the guys in my divisions, the Masters 3 guys, is like Lincoln Hancock and Sam Jeffries and there's a bunch of really good dudes in that level. And Lincoln, for example, he's an amazing. He runs Dominance Thomastown here in Melbourne, incredible competitor. But same, he's been a professional competitor for like 10. He's had 150, 160 professional jiu-jitsu matches. For me though, like every time I come up against him, he's gonna beat my ass. But you know what? I'm like, but you know what? It pushes me to be better. So
Yeah.
it pushes me to improve. So it's good.
That's cool.
But I mean, I think if you want to do it, get out there, but you got to work out what your why is. You're right. If you don't have a good
this is
why,
my
then
podcast. Don't turn this around on me. Don't be flipping this around. I'm in charge. I got to delete all that. This is my show. All right.
that's my bad.
So what is a favorite competition or training story?
Oh, that's a good one. A favorite competition or training
Like
story.
you fight like a famous guy and do well. Did you fight a famous guy and get your ass whooped? You know, did you have a good takedown? Did you have a crazy cool submission? Did you come from behind?
Oh man, I mean, like I've hit in the early days. In the early days, I was all about flying submissions. So I would hit dropping spinning arm locks in like white and blue belt a lot. Like it was like in the early. So we'd go, and we had a lot of round robin competitions in the early days in Australia. There wasn't. We had the Pan Pacific. We had we had the big state titles and the nationals and the Pan Pacs. They were the only 3 tournaments that were in like basically in Australia, and they were run by one place. And so they were tournament style, one and done. So yeah, like if you didn't do well, that was it. That was it for the day. And thanks, we paid you $100 and you didn't get in. So when the round robin stuff sort of came in, shout out to the Dominance guys. They started the round robin tournaments in Melbourne. And they were great because you started to get, oh, well, I'm going to get 4 matches, even if I lose all 4 matches. And so you started to get more experience. And so
that's cool.
What it created is, I think it created people to get in there, have a go, like myself, and try more things. Because if I lost, you could try again on the next match, you know?
Sure.
And so then I sort of quickly at those at lower levels, like the lower level, the white belt and blue belt levels, I was doing, you know, I remember I was watching, actually, I guess that's probably a cool story. I watched a Hoist Gracie submissions from standing DVD that I found on the internet, and he's got a sleeve and a collar grip, and he steps in for a basic leg sweep, and as they block, you sit down and throw the arm lock up. And I thought it was awesome, so I'd been practicing that at the school for ages because I just thought it was cool. And then I got that in comp. I hit that on a knife in comp against like actually in nogi. I hit it in a nogi comp because we're clinched up with collar ties, and I just did this. I stepped in, footed, and he pushed back on the sweep, and I sat down and threw the arm lock up. Yes, that's probably cool submission stuff. I've never fought anyone famous. Like I've never had a competition with anyone famous or anything like that. I mean, other than Lincoln in Australia, he's about as famous as we kind of get out here. But being on the mat, like, you know what? I guess I got to say that like Worlds last year was probably my coolest jiu-jitsu experience ever. You know, like going to Vegas, going to Jiu-Jitsu Con, being there amongst all these ridiculous legends. And like, if you could walk into a room, I suggest to anyone who does jiu-jitsu, go to Jiu-Jitsu Con once in your life. Even if you don't compete, just go. Like, just go, because you get to, like, if you could think of your like top 10, your Mount Rushmore of jiu-jitsu, they're probably going to be at Jiu-Jitsu Con. And like, I got to meet like 8 out of my 10 favorite grapplers ever who were at Jiu-Jitsu Con.
Is that part of Worlds?
Yeah, that's Worlds. So Jiu-Jitsu Con is the event that runs Worlds.
I got you. Okay.
And
Yeah, yeah.
it's at the Las Vegas Convention Center, and
Yeah.
that's
I need to put those on my calendar. Yeah. I mean, I can
yeah, man.
drive to Vegas. It's 3.5, 4 hours.
Winning. Then yeah, man,
Yeah.
go. Especially if you're in the States side. Like, obviously
Yeah.
for us, it's a massive trip and it's a lot of money
Yeah.
and really expensive. But
Yeah.
that was so cool. Like I said, because you train under Hoyler, right? Like
Yeah.
your lineage
My
is under
instructor
Hoyler.
is under Hoyler. Yeah.
Yeah, so I sent you that photo. I got to meet him at Jiu-Jitsu Con last year, which was cool. He was running a seminar with a whole bunch
Yep.
of the Gracie Humata, like black
Yep.
belts. That was an amazing seminar to attend.
Right.
And super
And all those
eye-opening.
are free, right?
Yeah, they're just part of your entry fee.
Yeah.
But it is first in, best dressed. So like, you've got to, like, when you see they open up the seminar like name list, but you've got to be like the first day. They might say 50 people for this, the maximum. That's it. And so it's just, if you get your name down or if you're in line in time. So
Yeah.
it's timing. So you look at who's on and you're like, well, that's the one I want to go to. So I'll try and do it. So
Can you
yeah,
like wrist lock people and tap them out and they move up in line?
I mean, you could try. That'd probably go pretty poorly in that line. It's like you said, not everyone's wearing their belt. You're like, also you roll up on some fourth degree who just smashes you in line.
Well,
But
yeah, but you
that
can
was
like
pretty
walk up to a bunch of white and blue belts and say, "Get in the back of the line."
cool. Yeah, so you just swinging your black belt around. It's like we said, there's always a bigger fish, and that is a big ocean at that event.
Yeah, buddy. Goodness gracious. Okay, well, you kind of answered this, but maybe you've got a new one. So, like a move or a submission you're known for.
Yeah, cool.
So,
Uh,
or one that you like a favorite today, like messing around with guys and.
Yeah, look, it's one of my favorite submissions, and it's one of the things that is, I think, in my gym in particular, I'm definitely known for. That is it's just a real, it's not hard. It's a sneaky lapel choke from top side control. Like if your top side control and my left hand is hugging the head and controlling the head, I'll block. It'll pass past my bottom right lapel over, backstroke, block that hip, and just spin away and just clock spin on them and just yank that lapel. And it's just such a nice sneaky one because you can set it up. You can set it up real clean, and it comes out of nowhere. And it's probably one of my favorite go-tos.
I like that one. I miss it more than I should. I gotta tweak something. I don't know. Sometimes I'll goof off. I'll try to roll.
Yeah.
I'm a big guy. Sometimes I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I'm 235 pounds. Like I might snap this guy's neck off. I think I let go.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes some people just won't tap to it because you'll hit a spot where and it's like painful and it's still choking, but they can like pop their hand in or they can like hang on to the lapel and just like get enough to just sit in it.
Yeah.
But usually there's some nice little follow-ups from there. But I would say just probably lapel chokes in general are probably the thing that I'm known for.
Yeah, I'm trying to do more. And honestly, like my submission game is not where it should be. I had a couple of injuries
like that
when I was newer, and like I have very good defense. You know, very good reactions. I got to think through my submissions more than I should.
that actually one of my big learnings, I don't know if that's a question, but one of my big learnings from my injury stuff was the first time I did my meniscus. I was so keen to get back to jiu-jitsu that I just didn't do any of the rehab properly. And so what happened was I was just like, just young and stupid and I'm like, oh yeah, the more jiu-jitsu I do, the better I'll feel about my knee, instead of actually listening to, people and doing the strengthening and getting the actual stability and the strength back in your legs so that you can do good jiu-jitsu. So what happened was that hurt my jiu-jitsu game in like a long arc. I was so defensive for so long because I couldn't trust my knee because I thought something was going to happen. And so it really hindered my progression between blue and purple in those times. So it's something I regret not doing the rehab properly, but like this time around as well, like it's like I am like a laser as far as my rehab and all the things that I'm doing.
Yeah. Good. So final question, like what's your your big tip or advice for just getting better at BJJ? Is it
Oh man,
watch more YouTube?
yeah, the classic blue belt conundrum. Sorry, that being said, I was totally that blue belt at the time. When I was a blue belt, I was on every YouTube video. Coach, what's this? Coach, what's this? Show me this. And like constantly with coach going, hey, how about you learn to hold someone in side control better? Like it's, that was the answer for most of the YouTube questions. But no, man, honestly, consistency is king. Anything you want to do. If you want to be good at tennis, do it a lot. Turn up. Just turn up. Turn up to practice. Even on the days that suck, turn up. There is no secret to getting better at jiu-jitsu. It is just turn up.
Yeah.
The biggest takeaway is turn up, and turn up on the days you don't want to go. I would also say that the having a plan to your training makes an astronomical difference to how you progress through your belts, how you feel about your jiu-jitsu. For too long, too many people, and especially when you're teaching, I can see the students who turn up with an idea of what they're working on, and I can
Yeah.
see the ones who don't. And you can
Right.
and that's sometimes just relative, and sometimes turning up is all you are capable of that day. And that's the biggest difference between the people who stay and stick around at jiu-jitsu and progress and make it to black belt, and I think those that don't is that when you don't want to go, even if if you've been training 2-3 times a week consistently, you're going to progress. You're going to,
Yeah.
because you're going to improve.
Yeah.
When stuff comes up, life comes up, family issues, work issues, you have, everyone's got their own stuff going on. Knowing that, like, okay, you know what, this week I'm not going to make 3, but I'm going to go once because I need to go,
Yeah.
because it's
For sure.
good for me, And I think that's honestly, that's the key, is knowing that you can turn up even when you don't want to.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah,
awesome. All right. Well, let's shift gears, shall we? Because this is BJJ and biz.
sure.
We got to talk about some business. Hey, I hope you are liking this episode so far. Alex has been very forthcoming. You can tell he's a genuine dude. But I'm going to start inserting some ads here and there for the folks and the companies that I like, tools that I use and recommend. If you've been around the sales podcast for even a minute, which I've done since 2013, you know I do not promote things that I don't like. I don't promote something just because they give me money. And what you'll see with this podcast, I'm going to start doing the BJJ part and then the biz part. And of course, we always are going to be weaving things in. As you'll see with Alex's interview, we still get into a lot of BJJ, even though we shift a little bit on the business side. But I wanted to mention, how I'm building this. You can watch me, as this evolves from the sales podcast to the BJJ and biz podcast. My goal is to put food on the table through this podcast and through these live events, which is a blend of my passion, jiu-jitsu, and really my passion is sales marketing, teaching, training, consulting, helping small business owners, entrepreneurs, salespeople, consultants do more with less. I've done it every day since 2006, and I love doing it. So please humor me with some of these ads. I will keep them short and sweet. I will have links to each of them. You'll notice how I use subdomains. If you have questions on that, hit me up, find our group. I'll link to that. But, I'm an open book. I want to help you grow. I believe whatever you put out there in the world will come back. Okay. But so speaking of sponsors, I already mentioned Active Campaign. Since 2007, I've helped professional salespeople, sales managers, business owners, entrepreneurs get their shizzle together via proper tech stacks, not just tech stacks. And really, it was humanizing the technology, right? Using technology to free up your time, using technology to do the tedious, mundane, repetitive things so you could be more present with your customers and your prospects. Okay. But now these tech stacks, they're just out of control. They're expensive. They're complex, crazy setup fees, annual agreements that they don't have your best interest at heart. So get everything you need and nothing you don't with Active Campaign. This includes landing pages, lead forms, email builder, CRM, and more. Okay, it's built for busy entrepreneurs, speakers, consultants, and salespeople who need tech tools that work. Visit my special partnership link for a free trial. Then the option to start, you can start as low as $15 a month with an annual contract, $19 if you want to go month to month. I haven't found anything better than that. So visit ac.bjjnbiz.com. Start your free trial. See why thousands are switching. That's ac.bjjnbiz.com, where power, flexibility, and affordability finally come together. Make your move today. I also wanted to mention Mind Studio, mindstudio.ai. I've gotten to know the founder, super interesting guy, Dimitri Shapiro. We've had several one-on-one calls. He's down in San Diego. We're going to be meeting up soon. I am an ambassador of the program. I found it. I bought it on my own, just like I had done with Infusionsoft back in the day, but I digress. But then I learned about their ambassador program, and being an early adopter, first mover, if you will, put me in a good position. But then I just reached out to him. He's a real dude, just like me, right? He's accessible. You reach out, you don't get an assistant, you get him. But there's a difference between AI and AI agents, right? AI is ChatGPT, Claude, Grok, Gemini, all those different tools, Manus. An AI agent is like a virtual assistant. It's like an agent. It's like having an executive assistant. It's like having an employee that does tasks that you need done. I've had overseas VAs for, I don't even know, 2010, maybe 2011, somewhere in there. Good people, Filipinos. I've got a woman now from Nigeria helping me. I had a dude in Romania format one of my books for digital. So I've used folks around the world, but learning how to automate tedious tasks. In 2008, it was Infusionsoft. Then I started working with HubSpot and Entreport and Active Campaign. Then over the years, everything is kind of blended together, right? HubSpot became more powerful. They started as a SEO tool, and they had Salesforce as an early investor, and they used Salesforce, and they made their own CRM, and now they got ticketing and support and on and on. So all these platforms, they grow, they morph, and sometimes I think they lose kind of, maybe not their soul, but maybe their soul. They lose their focus, their emphasis on why they started and who they serve. Mind Studio is still new, but I mean, $36 million round of funding, only with 9 employees. The support is tremendous. The technology is easy to use, drag and drop builders, great tutorials. So, when you create an AI agent, it is something that runs without you. You can set it and forget it, or you can click and let it run, but it's pre-built instructions that do what you need to have done. And, I've been doing that, like I said, for small business owners, specifically around marketing automation, sales automation, e-commerce, right? Tag someone, remove a prospect tag when they buy, add the customer tag, add the tag for what it is that they bought, take them to an upsell page, send the confirmation, a receipt, login information, all that. So I've been doing that for a long time. AI is here to stay. Dimitri's created a very affordable drag and drop builder for learning about how to build your own AI agents. Okay, so go play with it. Okay, because building AI agents for your growth, your sanity, and your profitability is easy when you have the right tool. Okay, so again, another subdomain, MS, so it stands for Mind Studio, ms.bjjnbiz.com. Go check that out. Let me know what you think. Hit me up with any questions you have. I'll share some additional resources to help you grow. Take advantage of this while it's still new. Mind Studio is still new. They're still small. The team is accessible. The founder is accessible. So get on that now. Okay. MS.
Let's do it.
So it's interesting. I like talking with guys, with gym owners. Some guys, I'm not a gym owner, right? I'm a salesman, sales trainer, sales coach. But what is working today to grow your business? How are you getting after it did you say you had 100 students?
We're at about 250.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh,
That's across.
I think,
That's like across everything, kids and adults,
yeah.
and Hapkido and Jiu-Jitsu.
No, I had a guy, I'm mixing y'all up because I had a guy from near Dallas, Texas. I think he
Cool.
said his school's kind of new. He's got about 100. So 250. So that's cool. And you've been open, you said like right around the pandemic, 2020,
Yeah. This is our 4th year. This is our 4th year.
Okay. And when you say like you have co-owners, other trainers?
Yeah, myself and Scott. He's my Hapkido training partner for the last 30 years. So we
Right.
he and I own Eagle together.
So just 50-50, y'all just longtime friends said, let's do it.
Yeah, we were long-term friends, and it was just one of those things. That was the thing that during the pandemic, it was like, are we going to do this seriously? So I didn't own anything until Eagle Martial Arts. I was just, I was the senior black belt, and I would help teach all the classes because that's what you do. And so we've been friends. We've been friends for 30 years. Like, it's been a really long time. And then, sometimes having friends in business don't work. But the thing, I guess, with Scott and I in particular is we complement each other really, really well. Like, the things that he's really good at, I suck at. And the things that I'm good at, it's not amazing. And so it's
nice.
It works really well. We balance each other out really well. But yeah.
So how
Oh,
how
sorry.
did
What's
that
working? Sorry.
yeah, how did that work? I mean, you're both training under somebody else, right? And, do you have to get permission to leave? Is it like bad blood? Did you, like, go to another
No,
separate
no,
part of town so there wouldn't be any overlap? Like, how
no,
does that
nothing
work?
like that. Our because when we first opened the gym in Melbourne in like Hapkido in itself, right? Obviously, like a lot of styles and a lot of martial arts, there's lots of politics and there's that all that stuff happens. We had gone through all of our political crap, which I won't get into as far as Hapkido and stuff goes. So we had already broken away from associations and things because of issues with the master at that time. And so we were doing our own thing, and we had aligned with a global Hapkido association. So that's what ties us back to Korea and keeps our ranks and certificates legitimate back to the Korean associations that run with those things. And they're great. There's actually Grandmaster Lee. He's based in the States actually. He's based in the States. I'm just trying to he's traveling so much. I actually can't think what his hometown is. I've got to look that up. I'm not going to say it wrong, but he's based in the States, and so he's got a global network of schools, and then he's Korean. He's our sort of like head of the association, but he lets us just do our thing. He's like, cool, you pay association fees and stuff like that, and you get certain support and that sort of stuff from them. But we very much do our own thing. So we didn't have to like worry about any of those kind of overlaps of other people and students. So when we opened Eagle, we were already just running our own school, and we had actually lost the gym, the place we were looking at wasn't going to renew the lease, and so we sort of just decided to go. Well, we need to find something, and so are we either just going to shut or are we going to go for it? So that's kind of
Right.
how that came about really. And I had also taken a bit of a step back for a few years to focus on jiu-jitsu because like when we had that sort of one of the reasons one of the splits was at the time, like back in the old days. I don't know how long you've been training. How long have you been training martial arts yourself?
Since 2017.
Yeah, cool. So like back in the old days, like as a kid, you used one style and one only. You trained one style, and it was sacrilege to go and train other things, and
Yeah.
secret. You got to keep your secrets and all that sort of stuff from back in the day, and that's just not how we think, especially here in Australia. It's just not it's not what we do. And so then as things have progressed, I started training jiu-jitsu, and the Hapkido master got like uber angry about me doing jiu-jitsu, and he was like you don't get to tell me what I can do, and it works because I was a funny story is that I was a bouncer for many years, like and I was second degree black belt Hapkido, and at that time, like I knew what jujitsu was. I had like seen it. I had a very very minimal experience with it, but nothing I could say that was worthwhile. But the guy I was working with on the door had just got his black belt in jiu-jitsu at the time, and we're talking early late 90s. And Ivan Rakitic, shout out to Ivan. He was he's the reason I started jiu-jitsu because we trained we but yeah, chatting on the door, you're talking a lot of crap, and he's like, yeah, we should catch up and train. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a black belt, you're a black belt. How different can that be? And I just remember at the end of that first training session, sitting with Ivan, he's talking, and like we did an hour of training, and I remember he's talking, and I'm sitting on the bench at my gym at the time, and he's just chatting, and like couldn't even tell you what he said because I'm just sitting in this cone of what have I been doing with my life because he just there's nothing I can do. I'm nothing I could do against a jiu-jitsu black belt. And I just was like, I never want to feel like this again. So I had to learn this skill. And because I was like, how do I, this is my martial arts is not working against this because I didn't understand the ground game enough. And
Yeah.
so that's what got me like in the jiu-jitsu scene. So then from that moment there, I just went and started training with Ivan, and I'm still training Hapkido. But then the master found out that I was training jiu-jitsu, and not with Esco. This guy lived in Queensland at the time. It was nothing. And anyway, he cracked it. Was like, you have to pick. And so I was like, let's see ya. I'll go to jiu-jitsu
Mm.
then.
Yeah, that's
But yeah,
crazy.
so we broke off from him after that, and for a whole bunch of reasons. But yeah, but that's I guess
Yeah, and
that's what
it's grappling is so crazy. We've got a kid, I think he got his 3rd stripe on his white belt today, and he's mid-20s. I think he wrestled in high school maybe, and I mean, he's a strapping young dude, strong. less than half my age, and I haven't rolled with them much, but I'm very laid back. I get into very bad positions and just like to work my way out, and especially when I'm bigger, and especially
Yeah.
when they're,
Skill
you
gap.
know, just a white belt. And
Yeah.
so, but man, he had me in a bad spot. He was heavy, he was strong. He had about like 85% of a choke, right? And I got my hand in there, but I'm like, I'm having to work. I'm like, hmm, this isn't just an easy, let me just get to my side. Just stand up, right? Like he's following me around. I'm kind of helicoptering, and
Mm.
but still, it was wrong. He just, you could tell, you hear him breathing, and you feel kind of adjusting the grips. And it's
Yeah.
like, and I don't have an exact plan, right? This is a weird spot, and I kind of let him. I got in too bad of a spot than I intended. That I didn't think he could get there, right?
Yeah.
Almost had an arm choke, and I'm like, damn, this is interesting. And but slowly, you hear them, right? The little things you pick up, the heavy breathing and the adjusting the grips, and then it's like, okay, bam, bam, a couple of quick moves, an underhook, hip out, a sweep, and well, I got out of the worst, and I got into half guard bottom, but I'm flat. I'm like, okay, this is better, but it's not good, but he's using the wrong grips, wrong pressure. So it's like boom, 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 sweep, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, pass, boom, 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 mount,
Yeah. I,
and
I
then and
think
then he's
we're,
grabbing me, and I'm like, stop.
yeah.
You're like, what? Do not pull me onto you. I'm already on you. Don't pull me into you.
Yeah, you'll often hear me in the gym being like, you'll be yelling at a student. You're like, "Hey, man, is that grip helping or hurting? Is it helping or hurting? Think about it. Like, is because right now you think you're helping and you're just holding them on top of you. What are you doing? Like,
Yeah,
frame. Like, often, do you know
yeah.
what? There's a cool drill I make students do. Actually, no, I haven't done it for a while. So anyone who watches this, we're probably going to do this week. But have you ever grappled with tennis balls, holding tennis
Nope,
balls?
nope.
Give it a shot. If you got a student or you've got someone that only trains gi and they get really afraid of like the no gi like grappling, right? Now no gi grappling, you've got to work underhooks. You've got to work your underhooks and your positional blocking, right? So if what I do in the gi, if you've got a student, particularly white belts or just beginners in general, who are just that guy that's just constantly just got the grips going, make them hold tennis balls and do around the tennis balls because you can't grip shit. You're not allowed to drop the tennis balls. You now have to work your underhooking and overhooking games to be able to pass guard. But you make both people do it. So you got
Sure. Yeah,
person
yeah,
on the bottom, person on top, and then you've got to hold your tennis balls and it's a good really cool drill that can just
yeah,
force you to go, what do I know here? Like, what do I actually know? Am I getting past because I'm just hanging on to stuff
yeah.
and then making my timing, which is fine in gi. Like there's nothing wrong with that. But if you don't know how to use your underhooks, then if they refuse to let go of the grips, make them hold tennis balls.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, we do no-gi one day a week, and I love it. I don't ever miss. It's a great class,
We're the same actually.
and
We do no gi one day a week.
yeah, and it does help your game. I mean, it changes things up, and
Mm,
and then,
yeah.
like, I started getting that one ugly knuckle, but I don't hold
Jiu-jitsu
I don't
knuckles.
hold grips, and I was surprised it just popped up, but
Mm,
I guess after years, eventually it just kinda gives, but and and again, I mean, I've always trained 5 days a week from the beginning, and I was so beat up, so wiped out early on for probably like 2 years. I mean, it was not smart. I was always sore, always
yeah.
tired. I would get home, man, I'd try to work, my hands would be like trying to hold the mouse, my hands would be
Yeah.
twitching, being
Yeah.
new, just you don't
Yeah,
know
absolutely.
anything, and just gripping, but now it's like it's kinda my strategy now, I'll get a grip and I'll let a guy go to, like, really fight to break, and I'll
Mm.
just let go, and then they kinda fall, they over exaggerate, and I'm like, "Y'all should learn by now, I don't hold a grip," but I'll get them, and use the momentum against them, and
Think I think just circling back to what you were saying about like rolling with lower belts and letting them work and getting and they'll get positions and then all of a sudden they get subs and stuff. I think I've been really lucky in my jiu-jitsu career and training for having coaches that would always roll that one belt notch above where I was at. Like
yeah,
there are obviously many belt notches in front, like there, and I
right,
mean that in that they'll roll with me and like pin me and make me work out of the position. but allow me to work out of the position, not just smash me and tap me every 2 seconds. Now you got training partners that just run through you, right? That happens.
Yes.
But having coaches that can help guide you, that are always able to just sort of make you feel like you're doing well in your roles, so that because you can. I remember I have this one training partner, and he was just far bigger than me and more experienced. He was a color belt when I was a white belt, and he would just destroy me in every round. And that's that. It taught me to be tough. Like, it taught me to grit and, like, learn how to just breathe through a knee ride. Like, it just taught you that sort of grit and survival instincts. But the problem was, my coach said to me later on, he's like, "Hey, I need you to stop rolling with him for a while." And I was like, "Why?" And he goes, "Because he's so far in front of you. What's happening is, he's every time you try and you put like an underhook in where you're supposed to, he's just taking it home with him. And you're now not using underhooks the way you're supposed to use them, because you're getting submitted by that particular person." And he goes, "I need you to just, roll to class, but stop, like, we would catch up before class, after class, and, like, just get at it." And it's, like I said, taught me to be uber durable. But it was good that I had, like, a coach that went at that time, Bernie Jenkins. He one of Australia's early black belts, was able to recognize that. He's like, "Hey man, this is not, like, this is good in one area, but it's hindering you in others."
Yeah.
And that's the thing. He was always, him and Tiago, like, is the same. He's like, Tiago, it's like that same thing. Like, I'm in my 10th year of doing jiu-jitsu, and Tiago to this day still makes me feel like I'm a white belt. Like, I can roll and we'll do stuff, and it's like, I'm obviously better than I was, but it's like, there's levels. There's just levels to everything, right? And it's I'll be doing something and I'm doing okay, then all of a sudden I'm not doing okay, and I'm like, it's so good. But that's what I think, for me, that's what keeps me coming back, is that you'll never finish it. You'll never complete it. It's just a never-ending thing.
All right, so that was a long answer.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, sorry. I don't think I actually answered the question, did I? We
didn't. But that was good, because I did want to know, like, how you started, and but how did you, right? So you two partner up, and then what? Like, you go find a building somewhere. How'd you get the word out?
Yeah. So absolutely. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. The while COVID sucked, and everyone had it was horrible, and all those sort of things. The thing that it was, the positive that came from it for us was, one, it gave us time to slow down. It forced us to slow down, and actually think about what we're doing. Are we going to run this and open an actual business and take it seriously, and really, really throw everything at it? And then, so that was the one thing. So then once we made that choice, we started looking for a full-time facility. And because of COVID, a lot of businesses had shut. And so there were a lot of available warehouses and spaces that the rent was much, much lower than it would have been. And so the space that we actually ended up taking, in reality, was probably should have been like our second or third location as far as, like, size and dollar value. But because the rent was significantly less, it was a good opportunity to grow into, because then we were like, okay, well, we negotiated some like pretty good terms and stuff. And then that gave us then they're like, okay, we've got a year to make it viable. Right. And so, and then for us at the time, it was socials. It was social paid ads, and understanding what that meant. Had you
done that before, or did you have to learn it?
A little bit of learning on the go, but I will say, I had a boss. That I used to work for, and so I transitioned from chefing. I was a professional chef and a full-time chef, and I actually transitioned into sales, and I went into equipment sales. And so I went from cooking in kitchen.
All of the great people go into sales. I'm just saying.
That's what I hear. I mean, I'm still in sales technically.
We're all in
sales. Everyone's selling you something. My boss at the time in that company was, he used to have a saying in Peter Santiago. He used to say, if you want to fly like an eagle, you can't be surrounded by pigeons. The reason I bring that up is because when we made this sort of choice, I was like, you get to that point where you're like, the sales stuff is fine, I'm living, but it's not what I want. It's not what I want to do. What do I want to do? What's the thing if tomorrow I won the lotto and there was no other, and I didn't have to worry about money? what would be the thing that I chose? And it's martial arts every time, every day of the week. It's not even a question. It's like doing martial arts was the thing that I want to do. I want to make that my life. So from that, once I made that decision, it was like I was talking to I had a very lucky opportunity that I got to I was talking to a friend of mine, Paul Veldman, who runs Kendo martial arts here in Victoria. He's a karate school and a very successful, really good businessman, but kept the standards of karate and kept the standards of what they thought were really important. And so I was literally just like sort of bitching to my friend about my life and about what am I going to do. And he gave me an opportunity to work in his school and be like a center manager and learn the business side of what those are. And I'll be forever grateful to him for that, because it was that getting to see that's why that sort of mindset of like being around people who are running successful businesses in the field that I want to do is the way to learn. And I learned heaps, and I still like, he's still a business mentor and friend now. Like we still collab, and I'm like, hey, struggling with X. And so having a business mentor has made a massive difference to us. And it's the reason we were successful in that first 12 months that we stayed open, was that I wasn't doing the advertising in his business, but I was learning what that was and like with his permission, obviously, like I was learning about those things and learning what was important in running a school and from the business side of it. Like the teaching side, have been teaching a really long time, and we're pretty solid teachers. We have really good reviews, and our students are always like, oh, you're great teaching and everything, but you can be a great martial artist, and you can be a good teacher, but you can be a crap business person. And so that is a skill on its own. And that's, we're still learning. Like we're not perfect or anything. We still make mistakes and other things, but I think that getting around people that were leading by example and showing the way of what to do and how to do it, and that community was here. And like and that's something that like Paul Veldman's was massive in educating my education in that side of things. And so then when we came into what we were doing, we had a really good understanding of what to do. And then we had a business mentor and support to go, what are we doing wrong here? How is this not working? And all those sort of things. And so and keep developing. But that was the thing that launched it, that made it. So getting the word out was planning of, and like say, we've been in the industry so long, and we already had a student base to walk in. I mean, it wasn't much, but COVID shut down so many businesses. And I was teaching at a school in the CBD in the city in Melbourne, called FMC at the time. And I was teaching jiu-jitsu like there, and that shut because of COVID. Like it shut, the business had to shut, couldn't survive. And we had already had the plan of like, we're going to open a school. And so then like sort of just the timing kind of worked out that the business, that place shut. And I was like, hey, anyone who wants to come with me to my school, we're going to open in February next year. And I think the business shut in like November of 2020. And so I think February 2021 was our, when we got the keys to the gym. And so we had about like 30 Hapkido students, maybe 30, maybe 20, that we already like sort of had at that time. And then I had I think 8 or 10 of jiu-jitsu students came from FMC and came with me because they lived on this side of the city. All the rest of them that were there lived on the other side, and I, sent them to the other gyms that I knew. Those are actually almost, no, I think all the guys that came with me then from FMC are still with me now. And then we grew from there, and there was, hey, coach shows open in a full-time school, and all of a sudden, word of mouth and was huge. And I think, I mean, I don't know about you, but I think I would say almost unanimous. Sorry, nothing unanimous, but in almost any business you're doing, I think if you're not getting referred by at least 50% of your clientele, then you're probably not doing the right things.
Right.
If 50% of your business isn't referral, depending on what your business is, but like in ours in particular, when it's membership based, like 50% of the people that come in are probably referred.
Nice.
Because it means if you're doing good things, people should be telling other people.
Yeah, I was referred. A friend of mine dragged me.
That's it. That's often what it is, isn't it?
6 months. I'm like, dude, I'll go. If you will shut up, I will go. And I'm like, what is this place? What is it? What did I just step into?
And was that the same school that you're in now? Like the same place?
Never changed.
That's fantastic.
beginning to end. And been a wild ride. And he moved away later, and we still stay in touch.
Is he still
He had
training?
some on and off. He's had some personal stuff, but he's got a good business that he launched. But so I'm like, dude, come back, because he used to tune me up. He was like a 4-stripe white belt, and he's younger, but he was in the Army. He was an Army Ranger, and I was in the Air Force. He was a cop. He was one of our county sheriffs, and so good dude.
What's his
And
name?
but guy shows up brand new, like, hey, new meat, and being a cop, he's like, I can beat up a big guy. Just as I started kind of figuring stuff out, he moves away. I was like, come back, man. I still
What's his?
remember.
Well,
Ray Dietrich.
Ray, get back on the mats, bro. Find a school, even if it's somewhere else. Find a school. Get back on the mats, man.
All right, hold on. I got to timestamp this. 54 minutes, 55 seconds. I'm calling out Ray.
Come on,
Oh
Ray.
my gosh.
Get back
That's
to it, brother.
funny. Oh, that's so good. 54-55, Ray. Yeah, we've stayed in touch. I'd send him pictures, like getting promotions, and he's like, "Oh man, I gotta get going." So like, look, dude, look, I'm doing it. You better get your butt on the mats.
That's it. Now's the time. Don't wait till tomorrow. Do it now. Get back
That's
on the
funny.
mats.
So what now? Is it just steady as she goes? I mean, are you still running ads?
Yeah, look,
Still word of mouth, a little bit of everything.
It's actually, you know what? It's actually been it's been a bit of a difficult time this year in particular. There's been we had a really awesome uptick first 2 years, really consistent, ads working really well. But honestly, with the change in like Meta AI has actually changed the way that the ads show and the way that things that it actually comes about. And so that's actually been a quite a difficult learning curve that I'm still working on. We're still sort of I'd say we're like struggling compared to where we were with the growth on that initial plane of showing. You can see that it's slowed right off, and we're trying to navigate. Okay, what is it about that we're doing, and that's something that we've got to sort of curb and try and educate ourselves a bit more with the way that that's affecting how the ads are shown and how it's sourcing. Because in the early days, even only a couple of years ago, the way that you targeted your ads was really specific, and you could be really spot on. I want between 25 and 30 years old and whatever, right? And yeah, now that's changed a lot of those things. And I would say for us right now, we're probably a little bit behind that curve. We need to and same again. It's when you're running a business, you're trying to find multiple avenues of income and all those sort of things to be able to grow the business in what directions that it's sort of going with. And so, but you don't want to overreach too early and overextend yourself too much. And so it is sort of like, okay, we've got to focus in on what's the core of our business, and that's the martial arts side of things, and making sure that we're still keeping that side of thing ticking over. And so that's probably where I think for us right now, it's like coasting's not the right word. It's definitely growth. We're pushing, and we want to push for growth and keep moving to that. And it's a competitive space that we work in. It's especially martial arts as a whole. It's like it's not easy to get people in all the time, because it's there's so many options, so much choice now. It's different back in the day when you're running a school and it's one of 3 schools in a 20-kilometer radius or something, right? But now it's like they're a dime a dozen. Like I think where we are located now, we've got 4 or 5 martial arts schools within a stone's throw of where we are. And that's okay. There's plenty of people. It's not, that doesn't bother us. But that's just the nature of what it is, right? Like
you need to get a physical therapist, a chiropractor, and a massage therapist. Give them all free memberships and say, look, work on everybody one time a month, and then charge them to come see you, and you'll be full.
Yeah, we're actually working into the fitness and strength conditioning side now. That's something we're sort of trying to expand into, and we've been testing those waters for just sort of. It was a little bit by accident, but it's sort of come up really well. Like it was this comes back to that competing stuff. I suck at, my mindset has always been, I've never been a weights guy. I've never been able to consistently hit the gym with the weights and enjoy doing it. I would rather, I've always been well, if I've got an hour to go to the gym or 2 hours to go to the gym and push weights, I'd rather do 2 hours of jiu-jitsu. And like, that's how I feel about it. But I understand that, especially trying to take competing more seriously. Yeah. Strength conditioning is a must. You just can't. There's no point at black belt if you're not going to push some weights, stretch. And so in March of this year, we started a fitness challenge, and it was literally the most selfish thing on my behalf, because I just wanted people to work out with me, because I knew if people were turning up to do workouts, I would go out of guilt, because
Sure.
if they're turning up, I got to go. And
Yes.
so, and that's kept on, and everyone, we got like 22 of us that sort of catch up every Sunday, and then work on our fitness. And every month we have a different challenge that we work together on, and we're just trying to like be fit and healthy and and help our diets and all that sort of stuff. And
Yeah.
that's been really fun. And big shout out to Cameron, actually, who's one of my students. He's been leading a lot of that with us together and helping, and it's been really cool. But that's been a big part of, I think, which next year we're going to try and, push business wise, push that down that avenue a little more.
Yeah. That's cool, man. Well, let me know if I can help. We're
Oh
connected
man, yeah, for
online
sure.
now, and
No, I appreciate that.
I'll start a Facebook group. I was thinking of doing a Facebook group, maybe a WhatsApp,
Yeah, yeah,
for guys. Cause
yeah.
I'm in several jiu-jitsu groups, but it's memes.
Yes.
Hey, what's better, gi or no gi? Hey, could Steven Seagal beat
The
Hoyler
answer's
Gracie?
key, by the way.
Like, okay, it's just not my jam. It's funny. I'll scroll through a
Yeah,
few, but like,
yeah.
I don't follow UFC that close. I don't really know anybody, but
Yeah, not
we
anymore.
can share tips, share business ideas, so
I think a
I'm think
Facebook group, a WhatsApp group for me is way more engaging, as far as we use WhatsApp for the business, and we have our, if when you become a student, you become part of the WhatsApp group, and it's
yep.
optional. It's not a mandatory thing, but it's just
Sure.
there. And like, and there's a chat there there's two chats for the styles, like Hapkido and Jiu-Jitsu, but everyone can see the community, so you can interact with each other. And
Yeah.
there's just tons of memes, and there's tons of just,
Sure.
like crap that goes on, which is fine. But we do then have, then like we have sort of breakout groups with the fitness stuff. So the fitness group we try and moderate it and go, hey guys, what are your routines, and what are you doing? How are you going with your diets? And what are you,
Yeah.
as part of like keeping those things sort of engaged. But it does deteriorate if you're not on top of those things. They deteriorate into memes
Right.
and what someone's kids are doing today, which is like, I mean, that's fine and that's awesome. Like we love hearing about those sort of things. But when you got to have like your general groups where that you can do
Yeah.
kind of whatever you want and have some fun. But yeah,
Yeah.
man, I'd be in for a WhatsApp group or a Facebook group for something like this for
Okay.
sure. But
All right. I'll let
yeah,
you know.
it's
I finally got done rebranding everything.
oh yeah,
The
cool.
YouTube channel got jacked up. I
Mm,
think I just had two computers open, so it wasn't verifying my account. I finally used my laptop. Like, oh, okay, there it is.
yeah, right.
So I got those uploaded. Got Spotify. So I mean, I'm doing like one a day, for the next couple of weeks. So front end loaded. So new website. I still got to tweak a couple of things there, but
Yeah,
that's it,
cool.
man. Going all in. BJJ and Biz.
Let's do it. That sounds good, man. BJ and Biz, thank you so much. It's I appreciate having me on.
Let's mention your website. I had you pulled up earlier. So Eagle MA, so
Yep,
eaglemartialarts.com.au,
yep,
right?
that's our website. Yeah, most of our info is all
So
there.
yep, I'll be linking out to you from there and all that good stuff. All right. And I will put it on my calendar. I will see you at Worlds if you come out next year. Okay. Yeah, it's a big trip. Mm, that's rough. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, just tell her don't compete beforehand. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Great seeing you. Have a great day, man. So I've been podcasting. I first started in 2009. Then I stuck with it, and 2013. I've done it ever since, probably 800 episodes now between the sales podcast, the CRM sushi podcast, and now BJJ and Biz. And talking with guys like Alex is why I like it. I meet cool people, get to know one another. And you've heard me say earlier, and I will keep saying it nowadays, I'm recommending AI tools like Mind Studio, but I keep saying humanity is the next killer app. So getting to know people, doing it sincerely. And I have had people recommend it, and many still do it. They will have podcasts. They will reach out to people that they want as clients. And it's not a terrible idea. It just always feels a little dirty to me. The whole thing, even if they don't get a single listen, they do it to kind of stroke the ego of the prospect, have a conversation before and after, get to know them, and sell them. And, as long as you are truly helping them, it's like, okay, that's fine. But I've always felt like it's just a little dirty. That being said, I would love for Alex to be a client, come to a live event, join our inner circle, whatever. So maybe I'm doing the same thing, but it's like, yes and no. I'm trying to just learn from people, get to know people, have them spread the word to those that I can help. Obviously, I can't help him in jiu-jitsu. The dude's been at it longer than me, but then again, maybe I could probably teach him one or two little things, because we can all learn from everybody. And I love that he mentioned that, he's learning from white belts. You can learn from everybody. But, my point is he's a more accomplished martial artist, but I could probably help him in business. And, that's the purpose. That's what I'm trying to blend the two, BJJ and biz. The better we get with our business, the more time and money we can spend on our BJJ. So that's the goal. But, I was just saying, long way of saying this, meeting guys like Alex is super cool. So it's a reinforcement. You're going to see, by the time this goes live, Chris Stroop will be live. Great dude, former Army, had a medical board, just due to injuries, but creating his knife business, and getting his feedback. Oh, I'd love this idea. I love the conference idea. I would go to that. So just talking with cool guys, if things are a grind in your business, in your life, you need to take a step back and figure out, why is it? I don't think we're supposed to be grinding all the time. I was grinding for a long time, and I just got tired of it, and I'm just ripping the Band-Aid off, right? Like merging everything, westschaeffer.com, the saleswhisperer.com. I'm still got to build out some landing pages, but everything's being rebranded for this. Burn the ships, right? Let's get after it. And so I hope you appreciate this. Hope you like that interview. And again, let me know what you think. I was talking with Alex. Yeah, I'm going to create a WhatsApp. So I'm looking at everything: WhatsApp, Reddit, LinkedIn, maybe all of them. I don't want to spread myself too thin, but I do want to go where the people are. And, I'm at my desk usually, so I can monitor things and keep a few tabs open, bounce back and forth. But let me know. Let me know where are you hanging out? Is it Reddit? Would it be a Facebook group? WhatsApp, LinkedIn? Funny, I just joined a Discord yesterday. I was reading a thing from on X about a platform Google has rolled out, and they've got a Discord channel. And I had one, but I had to re-log in, re-verify. It's just, there's so many things, Telegram, on and on and on. So, let's do the 80-20 rule. Where are 80% of you hanging out? And I'll make sure I'm in those places. Okay. But again, let me wrap up with a little promo. A couple of things. One is new, I'll tell you about, but Active Campaign, I am happy to have them as a sponsor right now. So if you're ready to take control of the main, I'm going to leave that in just so you can see, despite doing 800 episodes, being interviewed in probably another 100. Well, the interviews, I don't really read a script, and I've got some notes here, got an outline, because this whole thing, this is new for me, inserting my own ads. So I'll let you're always going to make mistakes. So, and I just saw something the other day. They said, the hardest belt to get is not your black belt, it's your white belt. And it was a good point. And I shared that with actually Ben Rudolph. I had him on the podcast, and Zuby. They were talking about it. I had Zuby on the sales podcast. Said it took me almost 47 years to get my white belt, and then only 8.5 to get my black belt. So, he's right. But the worst you will ever be is the first time you do something. So, when was the last time you did something for the first time? So I'll leave that blooper in, because I wanted to wrap up with two things. And this is an important point to consider as well. If you're looking at doing a show, I was talking with Alex, about him. He and his partner are thinking about doing a show. It's like, just get started. There's a lot of moving pieces and parts. There's a lot of things you can do to make it good, make it bad. But, you just got to get started, jump in, and you'll figure it out. And the good thing about, when you do it early, there's nobody watching. There's nobody listening. So it's like doing an in-house tournament, although the in-house tournaments I did were freaking stressful. Everybody's right up on the tape, yelling in your face. But you get my point. There's 100 of your friends watching, and instead of 10,000 more filming it, then you become a meme. But get started. But in this ad rotation or whatever, you always need a call to action. You need good calls to action. You need specific calls to action that go into a process, an automation, a workflow, a funnel, right? Whatever word you want to use these days. And so I'm an affiliate of these different companies that I mentioned, Mind Studio, Active Campaign, various other platforms I'll be sprinkling in here as time goes on. But you need some of your own stuff as well. And so, what I started talking, I had kind of mixed up the two between Active Campaign and my own 12 Weeks to Peak program. And I've been doing so much behind the scenes, but I made a little landing page for 12 Weeks to Peak because there's different options. There's a free habit tracker. There's a paid option for one-on-one coaching over 12 weeks. There's a group option. I can work with your own group, right? Small business, with your company, or I'm doing every month, a max of 12 people can join in a cohort for small. So, you can be an individual, but go through a small group, which greatly reduces the price. So, and that's at the first of every month. So check out 12weekstopeak.com, see if that can help you, if that can benefit you, get the habit tracker, or there's a link there to my calendar, one-on-one call, no sales pitch, no pressure, no discussion of pricing, just to see if I can help you how I work so you can make a decision. Do you want to work with me for 12 weeks? Do you want me riding your butt for 12 weeks, literally every single day? So if you want that, check out 12weekstopeak.com. Okay, that's my own program. And then, as I mentioned before, if you want the best, most affordable, no BS, all-in-one sales, CRM, marketing, e-commerce, automation, platform for entrepreneurs, salespeople, small business owners, speakers, authors, consultants, coaches, then check out my sponsor, right? My featured sponsor, Active Campaign. Visit ac.bjjnbiz.com to start your free trial today. Thanks for watching. I'll go sell something.